It's also official. Khamzat Chimaev, another G. Actually, maybe we just reassured ourselves of something we already found out a few years ago, right? But because of illness and injury, we kind of forgot. This guy just went out there and smashed. He says he likes to smash people. He did, man. He stood for like what, a few seconds, and then it was takedown time, and then it was destruction time. Reaction, real quick, Dan. Khamzat Chimaev on that big win over Bobby Knuckles.
Props to him. Just more sad for Bobby Knuckles. Again, I'll make the case on this one where I may sound like a hater, but we learned nothing. Again, props to Khamzat. Give him his flowers, but people just going like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, it was Robert Whittaker, but it's like, where was that respect? Where was that same energy coming in? Robert Whittaker's always getting freaking doubted, it feels like, no matter how much he's done for this division. And as we heard, it's a reoccurring injury that makes my stock in Robert Whittaker, where I was like, guys, he's the only fighter as an analyst I've never meaningfully picked against. I don't know if I can pick him now confidently, knowing he's got that reoccurring jaw injury, both from his childhood and was kind of re-brought to the surface by Dreykus Duplessis. And according to Rob, never fully healed, hence the quick tap and this and that. So that even took away, well, we didn't learn much, but I guess Chimaev has a crazier squeeze than I thought. Maybe not even that. Like, what did we learn? Like, I don't know, but hey, props to Khamzat. Hopefully we see him actually tested outside the first round in a meaningful way again up at this weight class.
That's why you should tune into this show every week. You find stuff out that you don't know. I'm a hardcore. I didn't even know about the childhood injury that Whittaker had. Thanks for bringing that up, Dan. I really, honestly did not know that. It's very, very interesting. Danny, what's your quick reaction to Khamzat and how destructive he was?
I agree with Dan, but partially, I think fighting wise, like what we saw in the octagon, yeah, we didn't learn anything new, but we did learn something that he's still there, because the questions were more about what was happening outside of the octagon. Is he going to make the weight? Is he going to make the fight? Is he going to be healthy? And he proved that he is very much still in this game, right? Like, I think there were a lot of serious questions about this guy's future and if he was done. A lot of people were saying, oh, he lost his aura and this and that, and he looked a lot calmer, and has things outside of the octagon sort of deterred him from achieving his potential. But sure, maybe he's been dealing with some stuff outside of the octagon, and I feel terrible that he's going through some stuff with his son health wise. But look, when it came down to performance, he didn't let any of that affect him, and he showed up and beat Whittaker, who I picked Whittaker to win. So big surprise there for me. But yeah, I think this guy is legit, and I think he's still very much a threat at 185 pounds, something that we started doubting in the lead up to this fight.
You can also listen to this show on Facebook. I'm getting a Facebook comment here. 40's Glass says, all about the smash life. I agree, man. He went out there and did his thing. Chris Goes Wild says, I was hoping to see a few more rounds. Pues, me too, man. But this guy just did what he had to do. Goes, I already know. We did the watch along. Thank you all for anybody that tuned into the watch along. Ghost, I know your reaction. Khamzat destroyed, but I want to know from you guys, because we do have to move on. Did Chimaev reignite his hype? Go back to 2020, right? Sorry, was it 2021 or whenever it was, when this guy fought like twice in 10 days and he was just killing it? And then, of course, he had, long COVID, other illnesses, pulling out of fights, time off, maybe legal problems. I don't know. Those are allegations. I don't know that for a fact. But is he now back to being that boogeyman, that everyone was hyping up 3 years ago?
Yeah, reigniting his hype. I think he definitely did that 100%. But you have to remember, like, did he answer a lot of questions? That's always the question that we have to figure out is, what has he answered? What has he shown us? I mean, I thought he had great fight IQ. He was on Bobby Knuckles from the moment that fight started. He went with his bread and butter, and he couldn't be stopped. That part, yeah, you give him a lot of props, but answering questions, as I see in the chat here too, a lot of people, and I think Dan kind of alluded to this, like, I think we would all probably shut up if this guy had like a strong 3 or 5 round performance where you didn't feel like he was gassing, or I think that's what would get everybody to shut up. But him going in there and finishing his opponent in the first round, especially it being Robert Whittaker, you have to give him his props for that. But we've also kind of seen that. I think what we want to see more is just a really good fight week. He shows up to the fight. He looks great making the weight, and then we see more of him and see him adapt during a fight. I think those are kind of the question marks that we're constantly battling with. But this performance, it's kind of hard to nitpick here, man. The guy went in there and he did his job.
All right, and guys, what's next for Whittaker? We'll get to that some other time, because he's got to deal with that they got to insert plates and screws. And so there's no sense in rushing him back, right? And what's next for Chimaev is usually something that we tackle. But we have a packed show today. So I just want to go to the panel real quick. Did Strickland solidify his shot, or did Chimaev leapfrog it? And let me tell you what Dana White said when asked by our Fada Hanoun. He says, get back to me on Tuesday. That means he's entertaining it. Whereas a few other times that he's been asked this whole way, he's been saying, it's Strickland's shot. It's Strickland's shot. However, he must have been wowed because he didn't solidify it at the post-fight press conference on Saturday. So real quick, Danny, what do you do? Did Chimaev leapfrog Strickland, or do you stick with Strickland?
100%. It's got to be Khamzat Chimaev. It's got to be him. Beating Robert Whittaker the way he did is just so damn impressive. And he's undefeated. I mean, you just got to do it. That's the fight.
Dan, Tom, you agree?
I don't disagree. My gun in my head, I go Khamzat, but I will say I think the schedule is going to determine that. If you look at where Khamzat fights, look at where the schedule's at. The schedule is the ultimate decider, guys.
Goes. What are your thoughts?
I agree with Dan. Whoever plays ball, the first guy that says, I don't want to fight there, or I want to redo my contract, that's the person that loses out. Whoever plays ball with the UFC, they get the shot.
Going back to something Danny brought up about stadium shows in Spain, Dana kind of shot that down. Doesn't mean they can't go to Spain with an arena, right? But he says he needs an enclosed stadium. Danny, maybe you might know. Are there enclosed stadiums? Is the Bernabeu enclosed? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, the Bernabeu has a retractable roof, yes.
Oh, how about that? Okay, well, what the fuck are they waiting for? They should go to Spain with that guy. With Sergio Ramos being allowed to come out in the corner and his opponent, Diego Lopez, I'm sure you can come up with a Brazilian to corner to walk him out as well. And as far as South Africa is concerned, I've heard no. I don't know, man. It seems like maybe Sydney, Australia, maybe where the next middleweight title fight is contested.